The new wave of socialism, what's the attraction? And why are Democrats running for president surging to embrace it? Even worse, what will happen if socialism overtakes America? Watch this.
For 170 years, socialism in its various forms has been tried around the world, often followed by oppression, poverty, and failure. Experts are closely monitoring this new embrace of socialism.
They do want to turn America, as crazy as it may sound, into a socialist country.
Democrats call it a bold, progressive step. In a new book, The Case Against Socialism, Republican Senator Rand Paul warns if socialism takes hold in America, it will imperil the fate of the world's freest nation, unleashing a plague of oppressive government control.
Well, Senator Rand Paul joins us now from the Capitol, and Senator, more and more people are embracing socialism. Young people, particularly in colleges, what appeals to them in this socialist idea?
You know, it's perplexing, Pat. You know, when I was a kid in the 1970s, the liberals had socialist ideas, but they were all embarrassed to call them socialism. In fact, they always react and say, oh, no, we're not socialist. Now they're actually so proud of the label that they wear it, you know, about. And you've got new Democratic socialists, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you've got Bernie Sanders, and they're proudly wearing this label. And I think the young people are misguided and thinking, oh, this is just benign because it's Democratic. But the interesting thing is we've looked at, my wife and I wrote this book together. We looked at socialism. As you know, it seems to be invariably associated with genocide and with famine. In fact, many of the deaths attributed to socialism are actually famine. It's what's going on in Venezuela right now. The average person has lost 20 pounds in Venezuela. Meanwhile, Maduro, dear leader, probably gained about 50 pounds. So socialism continues to have the top 1%. You just have to be a crony of the leader in order to get food. And so I think it's a misguided notion by young people. They think, oh, we want everything to be fair and equal, but they don't realize to make everyone the same, because we're not the same, it's going to take a truncheon or a billy club or bullets. And ultimately there is violence with socialism, and that's part of the reason we wrote this book.
Well, you know, it's amazing that the charge is being made against Elizabeth Warren that she's a, quote, capitalist, and you know, Bernie Sanders is claiming she's a capitalist, not a socialist. Why do they like it? And is democratic socialism any different from the communist version, the Nazi version of it?
No, and I think they forget that often socialism starts out with an election, but it may be one and done. You have one election, but then you're elected for life, and things tend to change over time. The other thing is that people don't realize that we're not a democracy when we don't pretend to be, nor is it what our founding fathers admired. We're a republic where you have God-given rights that are protected by a constitution, and they're inviolable. A majority shouldn't be allowed to take away your rights. Your right to pray, your right to go to church, your right to, be free from government search. All of these things are fundamental rights that are yours, and a majority shouldn't take away from them. When we believe that the majority is right, that socialism is going to be okay because a majority votes for it, well, majorities voted for segregation and the Jim Crow laws. That didn't make them right. And so I think it's a mistake for the young people to think, well, if a majority's for it, somehow it must be okay, because majorities can be for bad things, and majorities could take your rights away just as much as a socialist leader could.
Senator, what is it going on in our schools? The schools seem to be the breeding ground. And I have, of course, talked about Teachers College and the awful stuff that they have done over the years. But these people are not only socialists, they're atheists. So why are they so much against the system that have brought such prosperity to America?
Right. Well, parents need to be aware of this. If they can put their kids into a private or a religious school, they ought to. If they can't afford to do that, they need to be teaching their kids and buying books for their kids so they can hear another thought. But basically, all of these kids are being inculcated with basically propaganda in the schools now, and this is a real problem. Basically, everyone's taught that it doesn't matter whether you learn the subject material, we want you to have self-esteem. And here, we're going to give you a trophy. We're going to give you on a platter your self-esteem. And I think one of the most important things in life, or one of the important lessons in life, is that self-esteem has to be earned. Most of it earn it through work, and all work is really to be glorified. I don't care whether you're cleaning up or you're a PhD on the NASA moon project. All work is laudable. If you work hard and you do your job, that's how you gain your self-esteem, but it can't be given to you. In the schools, they're teaching fairness and equality and that we can give you self-esteem, and I think that's the root of this evil.
Well, Senator, thank you so much for being here. The book is called The Case Against Socialism. It's available where books are sold. I think you can get it on Amazon, and it's a tremendous book about the dangers. I just cannot believe that in America, with the disaster to our south, in Nicaragua, what Maduro was doing to that country is being destroyed. People are starving. And what's happening in China and North Korea and these other places where communism has gained ascendancy, to think that America would have any desire whatsoever to leave the wonderful freedom that we have in this nation. So the senator is blowing a trumpet, and we appreciate him being here. And keep it up. God bless you.